Good morning everyone. Hope you all are good. Today we are going to discuss verbs. And for that, firstly we have to know the definition of verbs. Let's start. Now we will come to know about the definition of verb. A verb is a doing word that shows an action, an event, or a state. A sentence may either have a main verb, a helping verb, or both. In other words, a verb is a word that informs about an action, an existence of something, or an occurrence. The verb is the main word in a sentence. No sentence can be completed without a verb. For example, he walks in the morning. She is eating her breakfast. And in these two sentences, walks and is eating are verbs. Now, we will learn about the types of verbs. Verbs are categorized in many types. So the first kind is helping verbs. The second kind is transitive verbs. The third kind is intransitive verbs. The fourth kind is action verbs. The fifth kind is linking verbs. The sixth kind is regular verbs, which are also called weak verbs. And the seventh kind is irregular verbs, which are also called strong verbs. Now, we will come to know about the first kind of verbs. The first kind of verbs are helping verbs. Helping verbs are defined as verbs that help the main verb in a sentence by extending its meaning. They add detail to the main verb and are needed to complete the structure of a sentence. For example, I am reading a book. Here, am is a helping verb. Now, we will come to know about the intransitive verb, a verb that indicates complete action by itself in a sentence, does not require an object, and it is called an intransitive verb. For example, the match was won. Now, we will know about that what are transitive verbs. A verb that does not make sense on its own in sentence and it requires an object. It is called a transitive verb. For example, he packed the bag. Here, packed the bag is already an object. Now, we will come to know about linking verbs. A linking verb links the subject to a subject complement that identifies or describes the subject. For example, the stew tasted good. Here, the word stew is the subject. Tasted is a linking verb and good is a subject complement. Like that, the next example is his name is James. Here, his name is subject. Is a linking verb and James is a subject complement. Now, we will come to know about the regular verbs. The verbs that end in ed or d to indicate an action, in the past are called regular verbs. They are also called weak verbs. For example, he changed his clothes. The verbs that do not end in ed or d to indicate an action in the past are called irregular verbs. They are also called strong verbs. For example, she found a pen. Now, we will come to know about subject-verb agreement. So, let's start from subject-verb agreement means that the person and number of the subject of a clause determine the person and number of the verb it will take. Now, we will come to know about the basic rules of subject-verb agreement. A singular subject if the number of the subjects joined by or, nor, either, or, neither, nor is different, the verb should agree with the subject nearest to it. Examples: neither the plates nor the serving bowl goes on that shelf. The next example is neither the serving bowl nor the plates go on that shelf. The next rule is if a sentence includes the word none, the use of the verb depends on the sense, singular or plural, in which none is used. For example, none of the boys were in the class. I asked for my servant, but none was there. The next rule is if an adjective is used to name a group with similar quality, the verb used is plural. For example, the rich are usually arrogant. The next example is the blind need a lot of care. The next rule is certain nouns like news, physics, furniture, measures, etc. that appear in plural form but are singular in meaning take a singular verb. For example, the news is broadcasted every day at 8 p.m. Physics is my favorite subject. The next rule is certain nouns like spectacles, pants, shoes, scissors, trousers are always plural unless preceded by a pair of. Her shoes are terribly uncomfortable. And the next example is a pair of shoes is provided by the school for all the students. The next rule is the use of each, every before the subject takes a singular verb. For example, each day is precious. Every man and woman brings joy to the humanity. The next rule is if the subject is one of plus plural noun, the verb used is singular. For example, one of my cousins plays chess very well. The next rule is the use of each, every before the subject takes a singular verb. For example, each day is precious. Every man and woman brings joy to the humanity. The next rule is, if the subject is one of plus plural noun, the verb used is singular. For example, one of my cousins plays chess very well. Hope you all have understood the rules of subject-verb agreement, verbs, and the types of verbs also. Thank you and have a nice day.